I want to come back from my time off with a take.
Go ahead.
The Buffalo Bills should be mandated by the National Football League to have a dome over their stadium.
Oh,
Yes.
come on.
This shit is ridiculous.
Give
Loser
me a
mentality.
What do you mean loser mentality? No,
Loser.
like they've already had to move one game because of conditions in the area. There was literally 6 feet of snow in Buffalo where they couldn't even play a football game.
Right.
This weekend, I'm already reading reports about there being several inches of snow. It's going to be ridiculous conditions to play in. First off, Buffalo as a weather city should probably not have a football team. Let's start there.
Okay.
But let's move on from there to, at the very least, if we must have a football team in Buffalo, can they...
Bob is yelling at you. From
Hey, time out a second. Can you put that on the poll, please? Should Buffalo as a weather city have a football team? It's absurd. I mean,
You're going to get roasted.
I know. What? I hope so. You know what? I'll put
You're
that...
taking out Chicago. You're taking out Cleveland.
Green Bay.
no, and I'm glad you brought up Chicago
tundra.
because they were talking about putting a dome stadium in Chicago. Certain cities.
As they should.
No,
They
you're
should.
supposed to play football outdoors in
No,
certain cities.
That one should
Yes.
have a retractable roof
No.
because I would love
Miami
to see
should
a
have
Super
a
Bowl.
retractable roof then.
I would agree.
You get a dome. You're the one with the stadium that everyone melts in.
Yeah,
you're-
but we need that advantage
that's
where,
our home field advantage.
where it's 120.
Okay.
Oh, now you like it.
Okay.
This
Oh,
is
now you
theirs.
like
I
it,
see
huh?
how this works.
This is theirs unless that home field gets
but
moved
the
to
thing
Detroit.
But the thing is that it's not for Buffalo. Like, you have to...
Sure it is. Sure it is.
You think
with that,
so?
With that
It is.
quarterback?
Yeah, with that quarterback.
With that
yes.
But
quarterback,
what,
it's
you don't
absolutely-
think they would be better in climatized conditions? Like if it was 73 degrees at
No.
every
No.
kickoff? You don't
Because-
think that the Buffalo offense would be better if they didn't have to deal with
The
snow and
players
wind?
are used to it. When you live somewhere with a colder climate, you gradually
Is that possible?
adjust over. I talked to
Yep.
Golick about this on Golick and Smetty this week. I asked what difference does it actually make if you're a Miami player going to Buffalo late in December? Do you actually have to change the way you prepare, how you respond to the conditions? And he said, yes, absolutely. It is not easy to do, and it does create an advantage for the away team.
But that's for strategy, though, right? Like that's inter-football strategy. What Witty's talking about, like offensive efficiency, yes, would be better at 73 and a dome with a fast-track turf.
Well, it's like Dan has always said that Aaron Rodgers might have won a few more Super Bowls if you were playing in Indianapolis.
Maybe.
That's a dome stadium than playing in Green Bay.
When he did win the Super Bowl, he went on the road in great environments for that offense, and he does have some bad losses to the San Francisco 49ers at home, who had offenses more styled to playing in those elements. However, he's lost to them in San Francisco too. I'm not really sure how much you can extrapolate citing their offense as an example. Buffalo is uniquely qualified because their running game is predicated on their quarterback who touches the ball every play.
Mike,
I think they're totally fine with it.
Mike, I'm with you, but let's try it this way. In Witty's defense, if you gave Josh Allen the choice, dome or play at home in Buffalo, what do you think he chooses?
Home. It's one of the best environments. Those people are rabid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Home,
I mean, I know
home
it's a-
in 7 inches of snow, I think they'd take that over in Detroit in 73 degrees of AC.
But if you gave him the choice of having a dome stadium in Buffalo or playing where he currently plays, what do you think he chooses?
They're all kind of nuts over there, man.
including Josh Allen.
Yeah, having been there, there's no way those folks want a dome.
If everyone played in perfect climates all the time, that would be the most boring shit of all time. What makes football fun is you don't know what you're going to get week to week. You might get rain, you might get blustery winds, you might get snow sometimes, and that's just part of the game, is having to adjust. You can't play the same game week after week after week in a dome in perfect conditions.
It would get boring. It would become like a soundstage, essentially. Just totally antiseptic. Don't you want
42-35 is boring. 49-42 is boring.
No, I mean,
Like,
you like the occasional
would you
change
find
of pace.
would you
That
find the
pace.
Minnesota Vikings more entertaining if they played outdoors?
Maybe.
They did play outdoors.
I mean,
for a little bit.
49-42 every week. I'll tell you what. It would get boring. It would.
You don't like the
Sometimes
different
you want a
aesthetics?
13-9.
No,
You do.
I never want to.
Defensive struggle.
But
I'm
the-
with Smetty on that. Yeah.
Some of the great moments in NFL history, some of the great still images are in the elements, the Ice Bowl, the the Tuck Rule game.
The Leon Lett game.
Yeah, the Leon Lett game, that Thanksgiving against the Miami Dolphins, where he's sliding all over the snow because they inexplicably just cut a hole in the middle of the roof. These are great football moments.
How does it feel to come off? You had some time off, and we understand why. And our thoughts and prayers have been with you, and of course Grant Wall and his family. But you come off and you give a take, and no one agrees with it.
It was good though. It was good to get back on the bike, be unpopular.
Did you
was
that festering for a while, or did you just come up with that? Like, were you sitting with that?
No. He's worried about the Bills this weekend. He's worried about it.
No, it's not that I'm worried about the Bills. Is that I think it's kind of weird that my entire perspective about the game is not what's happened with Tua these last couple weeks. Has the NFL figured out Mike McDaniel's offense? It's how much snow is going to be on the ground on Saturday night.
You know what's weird? Soccer, you can have different size pitches, and not enough people talk about it.
You know what? Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah,
what do you mean, Mike?
So in soccer, there are guidelines. So it's like it's sort of like you can determine how big. So like Barcelona have the biggest field in the world, and Yankee Stadium has the smallest. Yankee Stadium is barely regulation, barely. And
it's not a soccer field though.
It is for
17 Saturdays. 17 Saturdays a year. It's a
New
soccer
York City
stadium.
Okay. I had no idea.
But it's actually
Miami played their playoff game actually
in City Field.
City Field,
really?
and that looked like a 7v7 field. That was bizarre.
Yeah, it was funny, like to actually walk out with the radio announcer from New York City, and he was measuring the field with his feet. But either way,
finally a playoff game at City Field. I mean, how about that? Yeah.
Right. It was the only real playoff game played there this year. But yes, there are guidelines. I actually think baseball should have regulation. Like it should be 335 to left, 365 to left center, 400 to center, and then the same in right field. Like I don't understand why every baseball stadium has to have their own thing. But yeah, for me, this Dolphins game, I think, has so many interesting talking points, so many interesting aspects of it, and yet here we are talking about how much snow there is on the ground. It's not about did Brandon Staley completely undo Mike McDaniel by dropping his linebackers 3 yards further back into coverage.
Witty, that's part of sports though. You have to plan for the unexpected. It changes certain things, and the good coaches are able to adjust to it, and maybe the not so good ones can't, and that has an impact on the game. Like, we're not all sports robots who want to play every single game in the exact same conditions, in the exact same setting, in the exact same fields and everything else. Like, the variation is what makes it interesting.
You don't like the NHL Outdoor Series?
I do, but it doesn't drastically impact the game, does it?
Yeah. But that's like one game a year.
It's just it's a hockey game, and it's a slab of ice, and they skate around
and
the slab.
They
of
play
ice.
like 80
called the
games in a
sun.
season.
Yeah. Well, there was the one time they tried to play in Lake Tahoe, and they didn't plan for the sun.
Right.
It's happened like a few
poor
times
planning.
where the
Yeah.
weather has not held up.
They're
That-
like, damn it, who forgot the sun again?
I always thought outdoor NBA games would be fun.
I
did.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Out-
They do
Outdoor
those
games.
college basketball games on like an air carrier, like one of those like
aircraft carrier.
Yeah,
military ships.
they also play college basketball in NFL stadiums, which is pretty bad for the sightlines.
They also play college basketball in hotel ballrooms sometimes.
Low roofs.
Yeah.
Tough
That
for a jump.
would be weird.
Yeah,
I
tough for a
like
jump
the
shot.
different aesthetics that the fall and the winter provide in the NFL. I think it's cool. I like that these divisions in football kind of had their identity. There's more retractable roofs now, but you can count on 3 games a year that you'll be tuning into the red zone and they'll switch. You'll go from bright green to snow white, and you'll be like, what the hell's going on here? It's super memorable.
Instead of a dome, why don't we just mandate retractable roofs? So if you want the elements, you just open it up. Snow comes down, rain comes down, whatever it is.
But
and then you can
the
just close it
point
back
of
up.
having the retractable roof is so that we get the roof going while
the elements
the
are
elements are there.
Yeah.
Smetty, what was that sound you made, by the way? What
Which
was
sound are you referring to?
And there was some, yeah.
That one?
Yeah. What was that about?
Well, we're watching Chris Cody right now in the Zoom video, and
Inexplicably on blurry mode.
he's
Where-
doing
Yeah,
a grid of death punishment where he has to score 40 points before
There
he
we
can come
go.
in.
There we go, yeah.
The blur is gone.
There was
All
an
right,
interesting
Chris,
thing
can
happening
you
to his
hear us?
camera.
Hello?
He's
Chris?
bouncing around right now.
Hello, this is Chris Cody reporting live.
Great.
You got me?
Yeah, we got you. Tell
We
us
got you. Are you testing it out live on air? I mean,
gotta get the fit right, and then I'm gonna score 40.
I'm gonna make fun of your audio for being crappy because that's what you did to me the entire time.
It's not that bad. Yeah.
There's no way
well,
he got
you're
that
not on the
fitted
ocean.
right.
We explained to the
Wade
audience.
Marquette, yes, please explain to the audience what it is Chris is doing. He has a Dwayne Wade Marquette jersey on, which is very nice, by the way. What does he have to do here? Score 40 points before he comes in?
And they all have to be
So 20
dunks.
layup?
Yeah.
Oh no!
I believe it was proclaimed earlier.
Thinking? All 3-pointers? What are we thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were told by video producer Mike Fuentes that you were insistent upon doing it with threes rather than
my
with
God.
twos.
Mhm.
Which
Just
seemed like
doesn't want to come in today.
Oh, it's that that's 14 3-pointers.
All right, go
Okay.
for
I
it.
mean,
Let's see it.
Light work.
the task is shoot 40 points. I feel like if you get to 42, that's going over. That's not doing what you were told to do, and thus you'd have to do it again.
He'll be there all day.
Mix
if
in
he
a
has to
couple
do
like
math.
wing jump shots too.
Don't sleep on me. Don't sleep on me. I already walked the length of the court dribbling between my legs. Okay.
I'd like to make a request.
Why do you have a microphone in your hand if you still sound like you're on a speakerphone?
It's weird. I want a baby elbow J. Okay,
Yeah, nice.
little baby elbow J. All
Got
right,
you. Here.
all right.
I'll
It's
take
good-
requests. I'll take requests.
All right, it's a good way to start, just to get a little flow going.
Baby
elbow J right here.
He
All right.
enjoys
Pull up
doing
right
this
there.
too much, I think.
All right.
Nope. Oh, he's gonna be out there.
Seemed like we were in the middle
so
of
close.
a good flow too. And I know as a podcast experience, us just watching him would be fairly dull.
He's got
He's
his one
0 for 3 so
Oh, no,
far.
it's
Front
kinda hard
iron.
not to
All right.
watch.
There it is
All right,
from
he's on
the
the
elbow.
board.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Who's
right.
gonna keep score? Tony, can you?
Yeah, I can keep score. Sure.
That was
He's got
2.
he's got 2 there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to get to 40 somehow. Hopefully
3.
before hour 2. Ooh.
Oh boy, I got a long task ahead of me here. Yeah.
Saying you don't like the crazy games. I guess you like them as long as your team's not playing in it, and your playoff hopes might hinge on this game. Are you worried that your dream season, the one that's had you jump out of couches and throw fists in the air in excitement, is going to come to an end because of Mother Nature?
Well, I'm more afraid. I'm honestly more afraid that it's going to come to an end because the NFL has figured out Mike McDaniel. And honestly,
It just took 3 linebackers 3 yards
right,
back.
yeah, it's 3 yards of depth. That's all it is.
Three
It would
Charger
appear.
linebackers.
3 Charger
That's
Hey,
linebackers.
let's not forget-
backup Charger linebackers.
Have the corners jam the receivers
Let's
off the
not
line.
forget the team that held the Dolphins scoreless in the second half on Sunday Night Football.
What team was that?
A mere month ago, the Steelers.
Ah, boring.
Yeah.
But either way, I would like to learn things about my football team. And my thing with snow games and with conditions games is you sort of I remember when the Dolphins
You
played.
learn something about your team
No, you
in those
don't.
games.
No, you
yes,
don't.
you
You
do.
learn
Oh, we
nothing.
can win on the road, which is something that you're going to have to do
Yeah.
Right.
if you don't win in this division.
It's fair, Chris.
Guess
rather
what?
than-
Sometimes the weather's not perfect.
You got to mandate retractable roofs in every stadium. You got to worry about January, pal.
But Witty is saying we can have the weather be perfect every single week in every single city. That's
we
what
don't
he's
want
clamoring
that.
for. Right.
Meanwhile, your coach is walking through practice wearing T-shirts saying, "I wish it would be colder."
Why are
Well,
we
that's because
doing
he's in Miami.
Witty, why are we doing this with this game though? Like, why are Dolphin fans?
Because
They
they're
seem
scared, Stugotz.
they seem to be terrified.
They're
The
scared.
Vikings beat the Bills in Buffalo. The Jets were close. The Browns were close. Like, why can't the Dolphins go to Buffalo and win a football game?
Last 2 times I've seen Tua play in the elements, he was atrocious. Away in Tennessee last year, away at Buffalo the year before, both games they needed to win at the end of the season, and both games that they lost by 3 touchdowns.
You know what you are? You're a flat track bully. A flat track bully. You're a flat track bully. All this bravado, all this cockiness surrounding your offense, and now you're worried that it might snow. If Amin were here, he'd do that voice that is kind of like,
Oh, we gotta play the dog.
and avoid losing 3 straight. So you're not going to play the Texans every week.
I
bud.
know. You know what? I want to play the Bills in 68 degrees. Is that
Oh
too much
my
to
God.
You
ask?
already did.
You played them in 150
Yeah.
degrees,
Yeah.
and you got a
It evens
W.
out, actually.
Because
Fair point.
everybody got full body cramps. In
You
that
had
game.
your home field advantage. Now they have theirs.
This
I mean,
is such a privileged Miami take. Oh, the weather has to be perfect all the time, or I'm not happy. Guess what?
I mean, to be fair, the weather is perfect right now.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
It's
Last week
amazing.
has been great. Who
Amazing.
wouldn't want to play a football game in these conditions?
The dude with
Right.
the
Oh
biggest
my
arm in
God.
the
Are you keeping
league
track of Chris?
couldn't hit a
I
7
have
yard
been
out.
keeping track, but the problem is sometimes the video is a little laggy, and then I'll see like Chris shoot two times.
He's missing
in
a
one.
lot of shots.
Yeah, and he
He
said
is.
all
All right,
threes.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
check
think
in with
he's
him.
at
He's
14
got this out. What are you at?
He's at 14 right now. 17.
wow.
That's the
Oh,
first
wow,
three
nice
he's hit, I
three.
think.
That is a jump from 14
Also,
to
that
17.
is a high school 3-point line.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
definitely not from NBA range.
Cynthia says tons of bricks.
I think a pretty good
Jeez.
job considering it's windy out there today. Like he's outside
So
in
it's
the
a good
elements.
day for football,
Yeah.
but a bad day for
I
basketball.
don't see a single.
I haven't
palm
heard a
tree.
gust of wind
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't heard.
If,
You know when it was
only there
windy
were
when I
palm
was
trees that we
fishing.
could see.
Yeah, that was when it was windy.
Tony, you'd be
I
done
need
by
a
now, right?
rebounder.
Oh, I would have been. Yeah, I would have been.
No,
done
that
like
actually
5
is a
minutes
fair
ago.
point. We should have sent a rebounder out there with Chris.
Although,
Oh, get out of here.
I mean,
If you leave
he's
right
gonna
now,
want
he'll
to
still
change
be
the
at
show.
it. If you someone leave right now, you'll catch us like an
That ball
hour.
is on the soccer field now.
I do love a good rebounder, though. I mean,
Always need a rebounder.
what
That's
is
how you
Mike
stay in.
Fuentes even
No,
for,
no, no.
not
He doesn't get a
rebounding?
rebounder. This is part of the challenge. Get
Yeah.
some cardio in.
But also, he could just do 20 layups. I guess that would be
could, yeah, he could.
bad video or bad audio. Is Fuentes now rebounding for him? I just saw the ball get
it's
thrown
been
back to him.
bad
Yep.
audio from the jump. It hasn't
Oh,
been a good.
Jesus.
It's been bad everything
Need
from
a
the
new
jump.
rebounder.
He just ran to the other court.
Oh, I like this. Fuentes, keep it up. Just keep passing it to him poorly. So he has to end up running more.
More cardio for
I'm
him.
running
Yeah.
like 3
Oh,
miles.
he's
gone
easy.
to- he's gone
little
to the
layup,
layup.
little
He's gone to the
He's
layup
tired.
technique.
He's tired.
the layup.
We've
he
gone to
is.
layups.
Oh, echo.
Oh God, long
He's trying
shot, long
corner
rebound,
threes.
buddy. Long shot, long rebound. Oh,
This is
God.
not
Use
an
the
easy
backboard.
punishment. How many shots do we think he's taken
Well, it's
so
easy.
far?
He's
He
taken
took
at
20
least 50
layups.
shots.
How much
he's
sweat
about
is
to-
rolling down
Taking
his
a
back is
lot.
my question.
Oh my
Oh.
God, Chris!
The angle.
All right, we got another
the
Back to
layup.
layup. So Stephon Diggs said that he's never seen a locker room the way that he saw it after that Miami game. He was unavailable for much of those impact plays in the fourth quarter. We saw the guy with the biggest arm in the league failed to hit a 7-yard out because his legs just gave out because they threw about 90 times. You caught a dub because of the elements. You had Bills fans on Twitter complaining OSHA violations and all this.
I think Mike, I think Witty conceded. I think he's conceded.
But
Like,
it's just that's what it is in this division. It always has been, and
Yeah.
it has a certain charm to it.
Honestly, the Dolphins should wish that they get all the away games in the division scheduled early and all the home games scheduled late.
Well,
but like this year, it's the exact inverse. I believe.
The Jets and Pats are. The Jets game, I think, is here. No?
Yeah, the Jets game is here, but the Pats game is away.
Right.
yeah, but there's no advantage. I mean, the Jets are coming down here playing in beautiful weather.
Every
so-
single team has their own advantage in this division. You have melting temperatures here in Miami. You have turf that you might tear your ACL in New York. You got to drive
Yeah.
80 minutes away from Boston, and you have to deal with those people up there. And then with Buffalo, you have to go to Buffalo. And that's
Right.
All bad
Deal
options.
there's
with
nothing
those
good.
people.
You have to.
There's a bloke that gets squirted on by ketchup.
Ah, yes, the bloke.
Yeah, that's your penance. You live in paradise, and once a year, you're guaranteed to have to go to a place in which they think their idea for a good time is watching a 70-plus-year-old get squirted with ketchup. Deal with it.
I do wonder if you ask Josh Allen what he prefer.
He
Like,
played
if he-
football at Wyoming.
No,
leans
I
in,
understand that, but I do wonder if he's, in an honest moment, what he would tell you. Because some of those games, especially with an injured elbow,
He leans into it. He
No, Mike, he leans into it
Look at
because
how he plays.
he has to lean into it.
in
That's-
Buffalo. No, he's convinced of it with his upbringing. Just mentioned he went to school in Wyoming.
I know. But
You
he
guys
wa-
What he's
understand-
thinking. What he's thinking is, I'm going to outperform Tua in these elements.
right.
Stugotz, you
He'd
certainly
probably do it in a dome too, though. Is I
Yeah,
guess
but
my
he likes
point.
his chances at home.
You certainly know this. You must know this as a New Yorker, Stugotz. Some people actually enjoy cold weather. They do not like
I know.
being
I don't.
hot.
I don't
They
believe
do
you.
not like
I don't think
sweating.
anyone
I don't
enjoys
believe
They
you.
do not
minus
like
6
85
and
and sunny.
Yeah.
Some people like being cold. Some people love
But-
winter. Some people thrive in cold weather and winter. I'm not claiming Josh Allen's one of them, but it's not a universal truth that everyone would rather be in Miami than upstate New York.
But you also know this as a someone you spent a lot of time in New York. You're from New York.
I'm not.
How does he know
From
nothing
Pittsburgh,
about it?
Chicago. I don't know.
Literally
Forget.
working for a
Was
year
he-
and a half.
Chicago,
What'd
Notre
you say?
Dame. But Jess, you know this. Syracuse and Buffalo, 6 hours from New York City. It's a different kind of cold. It's a different kind of winter than it is in New York
Yeah,
City.
it's Lake
Wow.
Erie, Lake Effect cold.
Chris Cody is very red. Chris, are you okay?
Where are you from?
Yo, so I got one more to do.
That's not
All right.
true.
So how many points are you at? 38?
Yeah. What do you guys want?
Oh, it's got to be a 2. Otherwise, you have to start over.
I want
I
you
wanna-
to tell the truth.
I wanna
actually.
foot-
I want a
Long
foot on the line
two.
3.
Look how red
yeah.
that face
Yeah,
is.
long
How did he
two.
already
Yeah,
have 38 points?
Foot on the line
Because
3.
he's lying.
Foot on the line 3.
Yeah, of course.
No, not
No,
half
no,
court.
half
No,
court.
no,
Foot
no.
on the
Half,
line.
half
All right.
court. Half court means he has to reset and start over.
Yeah, it's like
He's
He's also not going to make it.
cornhole rules.
He's not going to make it. It's fine. Let him take the half court shot and miss, and he can hit a layup to win.
All right, half court shot, but you track your own rebounds.
Oh no.
It's
Oh.
miles
Nowhere
off.
near.
A little windy, yeah.
nowhere near
Yeah.
the
Right.
basket.
It is.
Yeah.
Get
At least
take
you
another
tried.
one.
He did it
Why?
barely bounced in the key.
Why are you doing this? If people want to watch this for some reason, by the way, LeBatard and Friends YouTube channel. Oh my God,
Not
that
even
one
close.
was
He's not even
Did he
coming
hit the
close.
backboard there?
6 yards short.
No, because look where Fuentes is rebounder. Oh my gosh,
Fuentes
this is
just
a
had to-
punishment for Fuentes.
Fuentes just had to go to Sunset Harbor to rebound that.
Oh, he
Little
bailed
baby.
out.
Conceded
Little
on-
baby.
Oh,
Oh,
I
he's
think he
missed
missing.
it.
He's Tim Duncan.
Little layup.
He missed a
You
bunny.
missed the bunny?
Yeah.
All right. Job done for Chris
Good
Cody.
job.
All right,
Chris.
get back into
Good
work.
job. So tired.
He's collapsed.
Where are you from?
I dropped it in.
By the way, Josh Allen, career 6-0 in domes.
I'm
Career quarterback rating of 107.
Witty. He'd
And
never
domes.
say it because he can't, because it's part of Buffalo and who they are and all that, and he's a tough guy and blah 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 blah. But I'm not certain he wouldn't choose a dome. I'm just not.
Yeah. The state of New York has approved $900 million, I think, to the building of
Yeah,
a new
and
Bill
people
Stadium.
are fucking pissed about it.
Right.
Let me tell
well,
you.
particularly people from the city, I would imagine.
People all over the state,
Right.
I think.
Yeah, you're paying for something that's 6 hours away,
It's fucking, and it's gonna get
That you'll
used
never
like
use.
15 times.
but
a
they pay
year.
for our shit too. So what's?
Who?
I mean, when it's a New York tax, it's a New York tax. Like meaning the new stadium's Verizon Stadium,
Verizon Stadium?
Verizon
whatever it's
Stadium?
called. Met.
I'm sorry.
MetLife
that's
Stadium.
so
MetLife
funny
Stadium.
It was
sequence of
Verizon at
events.
the beginning, I think.
No, I think it's always been MetLife.
No,
think so.
it's been MetLife the entire
I
time.
don't know. Look it up.
Also, that stadium's in New Jersey. So
Pays for who's
yeah.
I
shit.
don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah,
For our
Jersey.
shit
That's
all the
right.
time. I'm like,
When you build
think
a
were
new
in
stadium,
New
the
York?
state tax it extends out to Albany, Syracuse, everywhere. They
Said you
paid.
moved- Did you move to New York?
They pay taxes on our stuff. I mean, we pay taxes for their stadium. Big deal. Get over it, New York City.
I mean, what about Yankee
Wow.
Stadium, City Field? I mean, did the teams pay for that outright? Or was
I have
that-
no idea. But if there's a tax, that tax is not exclusive to New York City. It's everyone in the state of New York.
Oh yeah.
Welcome
yeah.
to our new video series. Stugotz explains taxes.
That I never pay.
that he never paid.
Tony, I have top 5 NBA players, superstars, with the best chance to win their first title this season.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You like that?
Hmm.
Spoiler alert.
Isn't it wild that only like 8 teams ever have won the World Cup?
Yes.
Like eight teams in the history of the world.
Ooh, can we get Stugotz to name them?
I mean, you'd probably be safe guessing. All
I
right.
can try to name because I'm excited for the soccer game. I am actually.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's funny. The World Cup so far, great group stage, terrible round of 16, great quarterfinals, terrible semifinals. So hopefully now we get a great final. It seems like everything has been a means to an end so far in this World Cup because the round of 16 wasn't great to set up a great quarterfinal, which lived up to the billing. And then the semifinal, it was kind of like, it was sort of the Stugotz method of March Madness, which is let's get rid of the Cinderellas and let's get the heavy hitters in the final.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we've done.
It's more exciting, yes. I am excited for this final. This is a dream final, though, right?
Yes.
I have shocking news. I am going to sit down Saturday morning. I think it's Saturday morning,
Yeah,
right?
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Saturday morning, you'll be watching the third place game between Croatia and Morocco.
I'm not watching that. So that they do that? They play a
Yeah,
third
they
place
play a
game?
third
That's
place game.
terrible. What
They
a
get a bronze and
terrible
a silver.
sport.
I
I
mean,
mean,
bronze
seriously, who
in
cares?
the Olympics, they have bronze medal games, don't they?
Would you like
I
the
mean,
loser of the
Olympics.
AFC Championship game to play the loser of the NFC Championship
That
game?
should be kind of fun.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
a great
I would love it,
idea.
actually.
That should be instead of the Pro Bowl. They should replace the Pro Bowl with that.
Or
That would be
to
fun.
Tony's point,
Yes.
you play it on Sunday at 1 p.m. as or Saturday as the warm up to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's the
that's a
third
great idea.
the third place
I would
NFL
watch the
game.
shit out of that.
I guess I would. You're
Last
right.
year would have been Chiefs.
We'd probably have to get the players union on board.
Yeah. Well, I'm not doing it for soccer is
49ers.
my larger point, but I am excited for this game because you have generational player versus generational team, and I have Messi plus 550 to win the Golden Boot. So I am going to sit
And
down
he's
Sunday
joined
morning.
top, right? He's joined top with Mbappe and with Giroud for the Golden Boot. I mean,
Yes.
it's a Golden Boot game as well as a determine who wins the World
You know
Cup
what
game,
that
an
means?
all-time legacy
And I
game.
like it. It's got everything.
You know what that
And I
means?
can appreciate that.
Stugotz.
And so I'm excited for a soccer game.
You know what that means?
What?
All these elements together.
What?
This one
What?
is for all the marbles.
Oh, the whole enchilada!
Oh my God. I didn't think of it until you said it, Mike.
we didn't even mention the fourth story is it could be a crowning game because Kylian Mbappe, age 23, could have 2 World Cups.
There was a comment during our live Morally Abhorrent yesterday, which promoted Sunday's match as the best player in the world versus the best player of all time.
Whoa.
Wow.
Goosies.
But Mike, am I saying this right? Generational team, because you have pointed that out, right? Versus generational player, correct?
This is an amazing generation for France. We haven't in our lifetime seen a back-to-back World Cup champion, and we haven't even really had the opportunity to see a back-to-back World Cup champion. No, I guess in 94 and 98 when Brazil lost to France, that would have been them defending their crown. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime type of opportunity for men's national team soccer.
Brazil actually got to 3 straight finals. They won 94, lost 98, and won 2002. But that's why when I was growing up, Brazil was the team. It was the team that sort of defined the sport. They had the commercials made about them. Brazil was this unconquerable thing, and they have not been that in 20 years.
And when you think about the French team, they won in 98, having beat Brazil. They got to the final in 2006. They've had Euro success throughout our lifetimes, and now they get to back-to-back World Cup finals, having won the previous one with Kylian Mbappe, who, before he turns 24, can have 2 World Cup championships to his name. If he wins this, he already might be on the track because he got the hard one to win.
And back-to-backs, right?
Yeah, if he got the World Cup early, and that's a trophy that has eluded Ronaldo and has eluded Messi to this point. If he gets a second one before the age of 24, we're talking about an all-timer in Kylian Mbappe. We may already be talking about an all-timer. I think he idolized Cristiano Ronaldo growing up. I think his scoring output, especially if he keeps sacking him up, those goals up and getting fat off of bad competition in the domestic league in France because he plays for PSG. We're talking about somebody that could be on that Mount Rushmore.
Witty, this is a dream matchup for you guys, right?
Yeah.
If I told you before the World Cup started, this is what you would get in the final, you would take this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
you would
would've-
want this.
I would have loved for somebody else to be in besides France just because I've seen this team already, but now that they're
You haven't
there...
seen this team.
Right, that's fair.
You haven't seen
They've
this
had a
edition of
ton
France
of injuries.
having to deal with injuries, and there is a very interesting storyline attached to this, is that Karim Benzema may be available for France. Karim Benzema is the reigning title holder of best player in the world. He won that FIFA award. He had been blacklisted from his national team for several years because he tried to blackmail one of his national team teammates with a sex tape. And there was all sorts of controversy. That's why the greatest documentary could be done on this French national team. Underage sex scandals, prostitutes, blacklisted teammates, blackmail, sex tape. and incredible on-field success. Brothers blackmailing brothers. This national team has had every drama associated with it, and yet they have success too. Their World Cup experiences are either amazing or tabloid terrors. And here they are, led by a team that has been suffering through all sorts of injury, and they get to the final match against one of the greatest players we've ever seen, who will stop at nothing this tournament to shut people up and finally get that trophy. It is drama on top of drama. It is the greatest sports theater that you can think of, this men's World Cup final.
And the wild thing is like, there's only one player in the history of soccer that has won 3 World Cups, and that's Pelé. He won in 58, 62, and 70 for Brazil. Mbappe would have the chance to get there with like maybe 3 World Cups. Like if he wins one of the next 3 World Cups,
3 more chances, you're saying.
Right, which is impossible considering that they only happen every 4 years. But Stugotz, we got to get back to the original point of this question.
Okay.
Which is, can you name the 8 countries that have won the World Cup? Which again is insane. 8 countries.
It's weird.
Have won the World Cup.
When did we start doing it?
Top heavy.
1930 was the first one. We didn't play during World War II in 42 and 46.
Just men's World Cup?
Just men's World Cup.
Damn, USA all the way.
I feel like I have a pretty good shot. I mean,
yeah. All right, go for it. While you do that, I'm going to look up the women's World Cup winners because there can't be more than 4. Would be my guess.
Because we dominate.
Yeah. U.S. It is exactly 4. The United States have won 4. Germany have won 2, Japan have won 1 off the U.S., and Norway won in 1995.
All right, so you guys want me to guess here?
Yes.
Uruguay.
Correct.
They won 2 of the first 4.
Yeah,
God bless football.
Familiar that you know that piece of trivia. You've mentioned that almost every day of your World Cup
1930 and,
coverage. It's the one thing that you've ever listened to in your entire life.
I only listened to it because Cody got it wrong. Greg Cody, okay? He had them winning the first 2. It was 2 of the first 4. Okay, so Uruguay. England.
England have won the World Cup in 1966.
Okay.
Right. A surprising ones considering that they invented the game. They also, I believe, I don't think they started competing in the World Cup until 1950 because they thought that this World Cup was beneath them. They did not participate in the first 3 World Cups.
We taught them a lesson.
Because they're like, nah, this is like a gimmick. This World Cup thing will never catch on.
All right.
And here we are. And you're right, Mike. We did teach them a lesson because in the first World Cup they participated in 1950, they lost to the United States in the semifinal by a goal to 0.
We've actually never lost to the English in the World Cup tournament. We got, you know what that means, Stugotz? We got their number.
I'm focused on countries right now, Mike. All right. I'm locked in right now.
You should have just made it name 8 countries.
Well, I only have 7 written down right now. France.
France has won the World Cup. They have won it twice and are going for a 3rd on Sunday.
Think of the teams that have stars.
I got it.
Above their crests on their jerseys. That's what the stars represent.
Brazil.
Brazil have won it a record 5 times, last in 2002.
Portugal.
Portugal have not won the World Cup.
Oh, no.
What are you doing?
They have never even gotten to a final.
Jeez.
Brazil hasn't done anything since 2002. Who are they? The Miami Hurricanes?
Hey.
I mean, that was uncalled for. I mean, we're not even talking about
Sorry, Roy.
And that
I
was
forgot you were
Roy.
such a big
Hurricane
Hurricanes
fan right there.
I know.
And baseball, football,
Could
both
you tell me the
basketball
last
teams.
title that you won?
Me personally? 2018.
Oh, you're going to claim
National
Clemson.
teams.
Goddamn, the two college football
No,
teams.
I was going to
Not
say
fair.
women's basketball.
The 2 college football teams saying.
Where are you from? Germany.
Germany have won the World
There you
Cup.
go.
They've won it 4 times.
back on track.
Last in
All right.
2014, beating Argentina and Lionel Messi in the final.
Okay. Spain.
Spain have won the World Cup 2010, the once.
South African World Cup.
Also, the only time they've ever reached a final.
So that's 6, right?
Yep. You've got 2 South American teams and 4 European teams. Do you want me to give you a hint?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Argentina.
Argentina are the 3rd South American team that have won the World Cup. They have won it twice. Last in 1986, the famous Hand of God and that goal against England, scored by Diego Maradona. You have 1 European team left.
Spain. Italy.
Italy is correct. You've named all 8
How
teams that have won the
about
World
that?
Cup. They've won
Look
it
at
four
you, Stu.
four
God
times.
bless
Shenanigans
football.
on this. He's cheated.
They've
Soccer
won it
expert.
back-to-back times in 1934 and 1938. They won in 1982 and 2006. Those are your 8 teams that have won the World Cup. And again, we have another final with no new entrants. No, we will not have a new World Cup winner yet again. It's insane. This competition only rewards the blue bloods. And like all these teams try, Croatia tries, Portugal tries, the Netherlands, who have, I believe, made it to 3 finals and lost them all.
You had the memorable 2010 final where you had the 2 finalists vying for their first ever title.
Croatia got to a final for the first time in the last World Cup, but it's a tournament where we basically know you can pick from one of 8 teams who's going to win.
It's just crazy to see, like, looking down the list of all of these teams and all these countries, it's like soccer is their number one sport.
Yes.
Like, no other country has a number one sport and a secondary one in soccer that's won the World Cup.
Yeah, and you think about, like, Mexico, how hard they try, the resources they put into trying to be good at soccer, and they can't. Like, the number of countries that this is their number one sport, and they can't even get near these top 8 teams.
Colombia made, I think, fewer than half the World Cups in my lifetime.
Yeah, they just
It's a great footballing nation.
Can't even qualify.
Italy won the Euros, had the longest win streak in FIFA history, or got close to it, and didn't make the World Cup. It's a very difficult tournament.
Chris, you said before we got started here today that you had 2 hot takes, and so far you've delivered one of them.
Yeah, I've got 2 takes and a research project to present.
Okay, well, you can ignore the research project because we don't want to fall asleep.
We will.
Yeah.
I'm
He
kind of
can-
interested.
Actually,
I'm kind of interested.
I don't know.
I want to hear the presentation. I'm not doing it, but I want to hear the presentation.
Well, he did it. That's the thing. I love when other people do the
Okay.
work and then I get to look at it.
It's the best.
All right, fine.
I was okay. So which do you want now? Do you want the take or the research
The
project?
take.
Oh,
All right. So my take is, I think you guys were incredibly harsh to Mike yesterday when it comes to Mario Cristobal. In this respect, no,
wasn't.
It's great to have you back.
I didn't see this one coming.
You said he's a
Interesting.
lousy
As-
coach, Wittyngham.
As
Yes.
vocal a supporter as Roy was, I appreciate it.
You got it.
Who knew?
So-
Dane's going to change this season.
So I have changed. Like
They're
I
back?
don't. As I said after week
neighborhood.
2 against Texas A&M, Mario Cristobal, not for me, Clive. However, I do think that the one thing that we know about college football is similar to the World Cup. There's one way to win, and that is essentially to have built a program that recruits upon itself, that you have to constantly be filling your coffers with talent.
Win at the highest level.
Right, exactly.
Because there's
win
some
national
brilliant
championships.
we just lost one of Mike Leach that did win.
Correct. I'm talking about winning national championships. Sustainability in recruiting, dominance on both lines, and a certain stylistic. You show up to the field and you know that you've got more talent, you've got bigger players, and you know that you're going to essentially physically manhandle 10 of your 12 opponents every year. And I don't think that there are any exceptions to that. I think that
Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M.
no. I'm talking about like in winning national championships. Like when Jimbo Fisher won the national title, maybe you can argue that team didn't have enormous talent up front, but I think that Florida State team was pretty clearly the dominant team of that year. Maybe Auburn with Cam Newton would be an exception, but even like, for example, like Clemson, like Clemson with Deshaun Watson. I know that Deshaun Watson is an incredible quarterback. He's proven it so in the NFL as well. But they also had 2 top 15 defensive linemen on that team, in Cleveland Farrell and in Christian Wilkins. Like, you have to have a certain level of physical manhandling in your team in order to win national championships, in order to build programs. No, stylistically, I would not want Kirby Smart as my coach. I wouldn't.
What?
But like the way that Georgia plays football, I would rather have an air raid, Mike Leach style of team, spread, moving the ball. I love what Lincoln Riley does, but Lincoln Riley has not sustainably won yet. And honestly, I think he might have to change his model a little bit in order to actually sustainably win, because there's going to come that one game a year when USC is going to be physically manhandled up front, as they were this year by Utah. I think that there's one way to win, and Cristobal is attempting to go about that way to winning. And so, yes, if you want to say that he has failed by not trying to match the players on the current team, I completely agree.
That's not the question. The question is he capable of doing that?
Correct. But I'm not going to fault him for trying though.
That's his job. That's why he's getting paid.
I mean, he better try, Witty.
But what I'm saying is like you can hire a coach that's like, all right, you've got Tyler Van Dyke, you've got this spread offense that did all this stuff towards the end of last year, or you can say, we are going to go a different path. We're going to go a different way and try and go about winning the way that other college football teams do. And if we have to take a step back in order to do so, then we'll take the step back. But I think that I can't really have a go at the model despite the fact that it's not really for me.
While I appreciate your defense, I never once bucked against the logic that Billy and Jess applied to their criticisms of Mario Cristobal. I got frustrated because I've conceded those years ago. I know this coach has his limitations. For better or worse, he only has one way of doing things. It's dependent on a specific type of athlete that he can build around. Shit takes time, unfortunately. Yes, it was a grand failing to connect to these different players. I don't think the university put him in a great situation by refusing to let go of Manny Diaz earlier because these players toiled around before they had options available to them, and then it was too late, and this coach failed to make it work with them. However, for a very limited tactician, he is excelling in the ways that you want him to excel if you have promise for this thing working out. He's knocking recruiting out the park. The players are looking different. He is going about his process the right way to see results. I am absolutely in the tank because this thing needs to work. I concede every single criticism against Mario Cristobal. All that being said, he is doing what he needs to do to get this program on the right track.
Witty, why do you not like to just win? Like, why do you need style points? Why can't you just win ugly? Who cares how you win? So Kirby Smart wins ugly. He wins with defense. He wins with Stetson Bennett. Who cares? Winning is winning.
Because this is an entertainment.
You love the Dan Marino era. I mean, you really did.
I do. I'm very sad that I was not around to experience it. Ultimately, this is still an entertainment product. I have to watch this thing for 3 hours and 20 minutes on a Saturday and sit through 19 commercial breaks in order to watch this thing. I am paying $1,000 for my season tickets. I'm not paying $1,000 for my season tickets to
$1,000
to show
for
up
that crap
and be bored. Like I want to see some excitement. I kind of enjoyed last year's 7 and 5 because at the very least I showed up to the stadium and I enjoyed myself. Like. Yeah, like I pay money.
You can Google it.
I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. So, yes, like, I want to be entertained.
$1,000.
You'll be you'll be entertained if they end up winning. I have faith that he'll turn it around just because it's working. I'd be very concerned if he wasn't able to navigate this season. Look, this season was, we mentioned, most disastrous season in UM football history, and he's still able. Right now, he's got a top 5 class, or right on the doorstep of a top 5 class.
Win with it.
There's pretty good indications that he's going to land another 5-star whale here coming up. He just won a hell of a recruiting battle for Ruben Bain, who is a player that keeps ascending. So he's doing the right things. If he was able to navigate that poor of a product on the field and still pull in this class, you got to feel that Mario Cristobal, the recruiter, is worth every penny. Now he needs to have the success on the field for you to back that up. But in terms of the recruiter, we got who we paid for.
We'll continue this conversation with a sleepy, exhausted Mike Golick Jr. next.